Hi guys, Dave here from Wolf in the Wild Survival, Episode 9 of Trailer Trash Tuesdays, the trailer life season, and I am doing great. Doing so good. Okay, so the last time I was talking to you guys, I was at a location behind, I was just outside of town. I was behind this old dilapidated boarded up building. The parking lot was like all plants growing through it. It was all gnarly and gross, and it was right near a trucking compound. Pretty loud area. And I was talking about how much luck I had about not being kicked out of too many areas, too quickly. I always had at least a couple of days or more before somebody come along. Well, I jinxed myself. I got booted out of a few places after that. It started to get a little bit old. I was still nice. I was still pleasant. I have no right to be where I am. I'm, not going to be a dick about it, but I was starting to get a little annoyed at being booted out of place after place after place. So, after I took my trailer to a Husky truck stop, which I knew that I'd only get 24 hours out of, but I took it there. I slept, I woke up, went to work, and I came back. I should have moved it right then and there, but I was tired. I was just, I didn't want to do it. I was lazy. I didn't want to do it, so I slept. I woke up, and it was pouring rain, man. It was just pouring rain. Well, I don't want to go out and move the trailer now. It was, kind of wet. So I hung around longer than I really should have. And somebody come along and, hey man, you've been here, long enough, you gotta go. So I thanked them for their hospitality. I apologized for being there so long. I loaded up my trailer and I left. Now, thankfully by then the rain had stopped. And I didn't have to do it all in the pouring rain, because it was coming down. It was seriously coming down. But at any rate, I dropped my trailer off, sort of down a little dead-end street, not too far from some friends' places. I figured I'd just deal with it in the morning because I had to go to work, and, I didn't really have the time, and I didn't really want to deal with it. I just woke up, not too long before that. I barely even had coffee. I didn't want to deal with it. In the course of a conversation, I skipped ahead, sorry. I dumped the trailer and I went over to my friend's place that lived nearby, and I was talking to them, and I was telling them, yeah, my trailer's down here, I gotta, move it somewhere else, blah, blah, blah. And they had a friend of theirs over, and in the course of the conversation, I got permission to park my trailer in their driveway, and I'm plugged in to a wall outlet. The trailer is plugged into a wall outlet. So not only do I have a good, fairly safe, fairly secure location, I have power. And, I just give money for power. Now, I had met, this friend of my friends a couple of times, very, very nice person, but, they didn't know me from a hole in the ground, really. Acquaintances at best, so just super awesome they let me do this. And I gotta tell you, after 2 months without having power really at all, it's so nice. I had my power station. I had power. It wasn't that big a deal, but it's just so nice having power again. It's so nice. I got a Keurig coffee maker on my counter now, and I don't have to boil water, put it into my French press, it takes a while to make coffee. Now I just pop in a K-cup pod, I make my coffee, I drink my coffee. It's just super nice to have that. I don't mind doing it the other way, don't get me wrong. It's just there's a couple of times where I wake up kind of late. I don't really have enough time, to make coffee because it takes so long to do when you got to boil the water and, blah, blah, blah. And, I work overnights, 12-hour shifts. It kind of sucks doing that, where I have to go drink, like, just super weak coffee that tastes like pony piss from some of the coffee shops around here that I probably won't name for litigious reasons. Just in case, you never know. I'm a small channel, but, word gets around sometimes. So, I mean, so far the people that I've met in the neighborhood seem to be super, super nice. Almost everybody. Yeah, it looks a little weird to some people, where you got some guy living in a trailer. I look like, some mooch or trash or, kind of whatever, I don't explain myself to them. I really don't, like I have a full-time job. I'm doing this because it's something that I want to do. And, I don't care. I really don't. I don't explain myself to them. I mean, they don't need to know that I do this to shoot a YouTube video, and, I do it because it's something that I've always wanted to try, and, kind of whatever. I just, I'm staying in the trailer right now, but, a couple more months I'll be, like living in a house because I don't want to do it in the wintertime. And last night I woke up cold. It was pretty cold in here. It was around 10 degrees Celsius, 9 degrees Celsius, which off the top of my head, I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit, but, it's a little bit chilly. That's telling me that my days are numbered, obviously. But, I mean, it wasn't all that cold. It was just, it was a little bit chilly, and I had to heat the trailer up. Now, I'm plugged in now, but I never actually did clean out my furnace, so that's something that I have to get to before I even think about using my furnace. I got like that paper wasp nest that's in there, kind of whatever. I don't know if that'll just burn up in the furnace and it won't be a problem, or if it'll burn down the whole trailer. I really don't want to find out. I want to try and clean out that furnace first, without breaking it, or without breaking like a propane line that goes to, it's, I don't really know how to describe it, but it's a little bit of a mess down there, and I haven't tackled it yet. I've only had power for less than a week, and the reason why I need power is the furnace, yeah, it'll fire and, kind of whatever. There's a pilot light that you light, with match or light or whatever. And yeah, but it needs electricity for the fan to actually blow the heat. Otherwise it's just there. It's not moving. The air's not moving around. So without some electricity, the furnace doesn't really do exactly what it's supposed to do. So because I never really did the solar system yet, I haven't really bothered with the furnace. Now, that being said, I kind of mentioned a heater in a previous video, maybe the last one before that, I'm not 100% sure. I got some comments and some suggestions, but by the time that those comments and suggestions, whatever, came in, pretty much already had a heater bought anyway. And this is the one that I bought. Not a bad heater at all. It takes, like little 1 pound propane tank. It does really well in here. At least so far. I mean, it hasn't been that cold. It hasn't been below freezing by any stretch. So, I mean, I'm sure when it's like minus 20, minus 25 degrees, this isn't going to cut it in here. I'm sure of that. I don't even know if the the furnace will cut it in here, to be honest. Probably not going to find out, though. I want to live in this trailer for the winter. But this does pretty darn good. I kind of like it. But this has the same problem, the same limitation that my furnace does. There's no fan. There's no way to move the air around. for that, I mean, it's radiant heat, and it does okay, but it does a whole lot better when you move the air around. And I should have been a little better prepared, but I'll just go over here and I grab my fan. Now the fan is battery operated, but when I put it over on the stove just in case, because I've had it on the table when I tried it out before and it got pretty hot, even underneath. So I had to put a baking sheet down upside down and put this on top. But anything out here, like it does get a little too hot for my comfort. So I put it on my stove that's like literally right here, which is obviously meant to handle heat, not a big deal. I put this sort of behind or nearby so that it moves the air around the trailer, and it does really well. It does awesome. On low setting, it can get too hot in here when it's like 9-10 degrees. So not too shabby. Now, directly above here, I have a vent that I keep open most of the time, and it's all the way open right now. I lower it down a little bit just to keep the trailer vented. This thing has a CO2 detector built into it and will turn itself off if the CO2 gets too high. But with the vent up there, even if I crack it a little bit, I got the fan going, air's moving around, works like a charm. So, oh, and on low setting, this thing here will last maybe 6.5 hours. So, not too shabby. Not too bad at all. Okay, so some of you might be thinking, you might be wondering, like, how does he stay clean, in his trailer? I did mention in a previous video that, sometimes I go over to a friend's place while they're at work and, I have a shower and, whatever, I fill up my water jugs. I have a key to their apartment and, I just go in quickly, do what I got to do and get out. But I've been filling my water jugs at work a fair bit, so I've been going over to my friends less and less while they're at work to shower. When I go over there when they're home, I go to visit, I go to hang out, I go to socialize. I don't go to intrude on their place. So how do I keep clean in here? Well, here's my bathtub. I don't have a shower in my bathroom. I don't have a bathtub, anything like that. I have this. It's one of the things that I kind of wish this trailer had. But, I mean, I grew up in the country. Especially, I grew up, like, way out in the sticks at my family's cottage that my great-grandparents built in, like, 1953, 1954. There's no power. There's no plumbing. There's nothing. It is, like, out in the middle of nowhere. And I believe the video is called My Bug Out Location. I did a video on my cottage, my family's cottage. Growing up there really prepared me a lot for some of this kind of thing that I do now. So we don't have a shower, we don't have a bathtub, we don't even really have a bathroom. We have an outhouse up there. So when it's time for a bath, we have a sauna house, and we would light the sauna to heat water, and we would put it in a tub like practically identical to this, and you hot water, cold water, get a nice temperature, and you'd clean yourself off. And with the sauna, you'd have the added benefit of the steam. You could throw water on rocks and steam the place up, and you sweat out, all the gunk in your skin and your pores and, kind of whatever, and you clean yourself off. Best bath you'll ever have. It's way better than any bath, shower, whatever. You have no idea what clean is until you've had a nice sauna. Unfortunately, I can't do that in the trailer, but what I can do is fill this bucket with, water of a temperature that's, acceptable to me. I, wet myself down, soap the cloth, wipe myself down with the soapy cloth, kind of whatever, rinse, get the soap off of me, and, clean myself off that way. And I get super clean. I mean, don't get me wrong. I can't, dump the water on myself and get it all over my bathroom floor like I can in the sauna, but I get pretty darn clean. So, that's kind of that. All I got to do is heat up the kettle, and, I go into my bathroom and I clean myself off, just like I would at the cottage. It's so easy, and it's super nice. It's almost a waste of time to go across town to have a shower at my friend's place, other than, when it's time to wash my hair. Obviously, it's a little easier to do in a shower than it is with this. But I suffer from dry skin, so really I wash my hair once or twice a week, and other than that, I just take care of myself. Brush my hair, run a wet washcloth through it every once in a while just to make sure. But really I only wash my hair once or twice a week because of the whole dry skin thing. So I mean, all in all, I'm doing pretty good just with what I'm doing here. Something else that I just did is some of you who watch my channel regularly would probably have seen my wild bergamot, which should be just a few videos down from this one. And I always say, hey, I'm going to try to link this in the chat. I always forget to put a link in. And then by the time I remember, if I go back and do it, it's been so long that maybe 5 other people might watch the video and actually have the link there. So, I mean, let's be honest. There's a wild bergamot video, a few ones down from this one here. If you want to know about wild bergamot, definitely check it out. It is a long video, and part of the reason why it's so long is because this is a super useful plant. So I have flower tops and whatnot in the smaller one, and that's mostly just for tea, or if I'm making, a wash, kind of whatever. It's useful, but what's more useful in the bigger jar are the dried leaves. I could use this for culinary uses to enhance flavors, kind of whatever. I could use this for medicinal reasons. I could use this just to make a tea, just for the taste. Because, sometimes it's got a pleasant, kind of whatever. But the medicinal properties is, really what it's here for. And I wanted to have a lot more leaves than I do flowers, partially for the culinary reasons, and partially because its medicinal properties. I could use this to add to other things, other concoctions that you would make a tea out of or whatever, that would enhance the flavor. Kind of like my my Exorcist tea, which in the first Trailer Trash Tuesdays series that I did, I showed you guys how I make the Exorcist tea, which I made for my teenage daughter to help with her cycle, which was apparently particularly brutal for her. So I made this tea to help ease the pain, the suffering, the symptoms of that. And it's also a fairly effective sedative for when she is having trouble sleeping. She also has some Exorcist tea to help her sleep. The Exorcist tea, its primary ingredient is vervain. It's got some other stuff in it that have similar properties, And it might not be as strong as vervain, but it doesn't taste like crap the way vervain does. So it helps to cut that bad bitter flavor without weakening the medicinal properties too much. So it's got goldenrod, and it's got some mint, and it's got giant ironweed. All of those have similar properties to the vervain as far as female complaints go, but it helps, like I say, to take away that bad flavor and add a few more, beneficial kind of effects to it. So this here could very easily be a flavor cutter in plants that might be a little stronger than this, for certain, medicinal qualities, but have a horrible taste, where, this could help reduce the taste without reducing the medicinal qualities. So, long-winded explanation, I know, but I wanted more of the leaves than I do the flower tops and whatever. Anyway, partially for that, and partially for culinary uses. So, I finally have those sort of done and ready to add to, my medicine cabinet of medicinal herbs that I have, which is actually pretty full, and I'm going to have to figure something else out. Because, these ain't going to fit in there now. I'll do something or other in here, and I'll be able to, store them. Okay, let me see. I did think of a few things that I wanted to talk about before I started this video. And I'm missing something or other, which is... I have two 20-pound propane tanks hooked up to the front of my trailer. They have been hooked up to the front of my trailer at least a month. Like, maybe more, but I'm pretty sure it's at least a month. I don't know how long those tanks are going to last. But I haven't had to change them yet. And my days are numbered in the trailer. Like I say, I can only do this for maybe another month or so, month and a half. But it is kind of starting to get somewhat cold at night. And eventually it'll be too cold for, my heater to really do that much. And even on a high setting, the trailer isn't like insulated super well, so it's going to be cold in here. Eventually it'll be too cold to sleep in or live in. And I think I figured out like 3 of those tanks is like $25, and on the low setting, I might be able to get a full day of heat out of this thing here on the low setting. So that means it'll cost me $25 a day to heat this trailer when it gets cold. And if I have to turn it up to high, then it's like a cylinder lasts like 3 hours. So you're looking between $50 and $75 a day. Assuming that I don't get the solar panel hooked up and, kind of whatever, and the furnace working properly. That being said, in the wintertime, sunlight, snow on the solar panel, power might be an issue, which case the fan in there is not really going to work, and, kind of whatever. I can't stay, parked in my friend's driveway forever. This is a very temporary thing. So, the tanks on the front of my trailer are not being used for heat. I probably could have just said that instead of blah, blah, blah. But all I've used them for is heating up water for coffee, for doing my dishes, for having my bath, kind of whatever, and for cooking. I've had them on there for a month. How much longer are these 2 tanks going to last before they empty out and I got to replace them? This is something that I would like to know before I move out of the trailer. And I have a text message from a friend of mine where the tanks are mentioned, and I got to go back and actually make a note as to what day that was and try to figure out how long do the tanks last. I'm going to need to know that for when I'm roaming around in my trailer, hopefully as early as next summer. I want to go out to the West Coast and visit some friends. And I want to bring my trailer along to do that. Knowing approximately, how long the gas is going to last will help me, so that before I go like out in the middle of nowhere and go do whatever it is I'm going to do, I have a mental thought in my head, oh yeah, I got to refill those tanks because, they're almost empty, or they should be. So, I should do that before I wander off into the woods for the next couple of weeks, or, kind of whatever. Also, something that I would like to do is I'd really like to get my passport, and I'd like to go down into the States, and I would like to take a couple of months and kind of roam around. I've never been out of Canada. I've explored a fair bit of Ontario and whatnot, but I've never really adventured around as much as I really, really wanted to. In my youth, I had all these grandiose plans that I just never really got to. Life got in the way, full-time job, blah, blah, blah. Well, there's going to come a day where I'm getting sick and tired of this, and I'm going to take some money, and I'm going to take some time off, and I'm going to roam around and adventure, and I would love to get into the States and maybe roam through a few towns of some of you guys that have watched my videos, from the beginning or almost from the beginning, who have encouraged me, have helped me to, kind of keep this channel going, even when sometimes it's just like, oh, for crying out loud, I got like 30 views on this video, and I'm obviously not that entertaining, and, blah, blah, blah. I honestly do this to educate people, not necessarily to be entertaining, but it'd be nice if I could develop that skill set to be entertaining and educational. But nonetheless, I would love to roam through a few towns and, let people know, hey, I'm going to be, in around your area. I'd love to shake your hand and thank you for the encouragement, for the comments, for the suggestions that really helped me along the way. There's quite a few of that I'd love to do that with. There's some of you that I would just die to meet. I would just absolutely love to meet some of you. But there are a lot of you that I would really, really enjoy the opportunity to just to to shake your hand and thank you for the encouragement and the support. This trailer gives me the freedom to do that. Once I get it, kind of the way that I think it should be, and, the experience that I'm building now and the suggestions that I'm getting, and, kind of whatever, it's going to be awesome. It really is. I'm going to really, really, really enjoy doing it. And, I got to get my passport, save up a bit of money and get it done, but, all in good time, right? So, yeah, I don't know how long those propane tanks will last. It would be nice to know before I embark on some of these adventures. All in all, I'm so happy I've done this. I really am. I'm so happy that I have this trailer, that I've put some time and some money into it, that I'm almost, all I need is a solar system and to clean my furnace. It's just so super cool to think about some of these things, and wow, I can actually do this. I could save a few dollars here, a few dollars there, put money away, and I can actually do this now. I have this, and I have this, and I have this, and I have everything is coming along, and all I really have to do is get a. And I don't even really have to have a solar system. I would just really, really like to have a solar system. Especially now that I can make a coffee with a touch of a button again after 2 months, more than 2 months. It's just so super cool. I'd like to be able to stay doing that. If I can't, whatever. I'm ready now, other than time and money. But it'll be even better later when I put a little more money into this thing. And, you know, that's the ultimate goal. That's why I'm doing this now. If I know how long, like, a battery is going to last without decent sunny days before the fridge depletes it, you know, kind of whatever. If I know how long my propane tanks are going to last while I'm cooking, heating water, you know, kind of doing whatever. If I have a basic idea of, you know, the little things, the stuff that I'm going to need, you know, ant traps. You know, I had this thing for months. Didn't have any, you know, any ant traps, anything to control insects whatsoever, because I didn't want to have, like, poison and gross chemicals and, you know, kind of whatever hanging around. It really, really would have sucked for me to get somewhere in northern British Columbia and have my trailer infested with ants and have really no real ability to deal with it. Because, I mean, when I put the wild bergamot in, I mean, it kind of helped with the mosquitoes, with houseflies, really, really helped with that. You know, it did help with a lot of insects while it was fresh. And even a little while after, you know, it was dry, whatever. But it didn't really help so much with ants. So, you know, maybe wild peppermint probably would have been a whole lot better. But, I mean, you know, these experiences, this is what I'm doing this for, so that I can maximize my enjoyment on my trips that I plan on doing, hopefully as early as next summer. So, my grand experiment here is, days are numbered, you know, maybe another month, possibly month and a half. I'm going to have to move back into the apartment. But I certainly am enjoying myself. It's so much cooler now that I'm plugged in and have, like, electricity at the flick of a switch, kind of whatever. But yeah, I did okay without it. So if I have to go without it again on my trips, so be it. Another long-winded video, guys. I'm sorry. I hope you're still awake. I hope some of you made it to the end of this video to hear my heartfelt speech about how awesome I'm going to be, you know, when I can use this, you know, adventuring and whatnot. Yeah, I mean, I think I said it all, and some. We'll see you guys in the next video. Until then, stay wild.